រត់សួស្តីអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាខ្ញុំឈ្មោះ Paul សូមតើខ្ញុំនិយាយភាសាខ្មែរតិចតិច so I will change to English. So 14 years ago I came to Cambodia the first time and I realized one thing. We had a lot of expats in Siem Reap, and there were two groups. There were the one group who make business here, and there were the other groups. They had organization here. They came here to help, and that was a kind of disturbing for me, because I think everyone who has a business has also a social responsibility. And that's why my wife and I, we started Haven, a training restaurant for young adults, as a business and not as an NGO. Our idea was to copy the idea from Switzerland with apprenticeships. In Switzerland, it's very common to train young adults in your business. We copied the idea here with Haven. We train young adults from difficult backgrounds, from poor families, for 16 months. They get working skills, they get life skills, they get trained for their own life. Because the problem is, education costs money. When you grow up in a poor family, you have no money. It means you have not access to education. And especially all of you, the young generation, they have also a responsibility. They should make a good business, they should move on, but they also take responsibility for the unfortunate. We do it like this. We have our staff, we run a restaurant. At the same time, we have every year a certain amount of young adults. They're coming from organization. A lot of organizations, they take care of children until they turn 18. We do the reintegration into real life. We take them in, we have a classroom, we train them theoretical lesson, working skills and life skills, and the practical part is learning in the kitchen. So they help in the kitchen, and at the same time they get a proper education. We are doing it now since 2011. During this time, we trained more than 100 young adults who had no access to education. We have formal trainees. They work now in 5-star hotels. We have other trainees, they work in banks. These are all opportunities they got. And that's the point. I think not in general you should hand out money. You should not in general start organization. What everyone should create is an opportunity. I always say the young adults who get trained in our restaurant, we never guarantee them to be successful in life, because success is something you are doing by yourself. We created with Haven an opportunity so they can learn and they can be successful. It's the same like in a school. In a school, you have the opportunity to learn. What you are doing, it's all in your hand. And I think it's important. For us at Haven, the last 2 years, they were quite difficult, because our main focus were the tourists. And that's the point. We needed tourists because we could ask for higher price, because everything we paid for our trainees was paid with the profit from the restaurant. So we don't rely on donations, we rely on a good job. And that was the second thing with Haven. If you want to train young adults, you have to do a good job. You have to be a role model for them. You have to show them how to do it in a proper way. And therefore, we started with Haven 11 years ago, and we set up a correct business plan and a proper target group. That's the point I learned in the last 10 years with a lot of businesses here. Like in the introduction, I was a marketing teacher back in Switzerland. When I talked with Khmer and also Westerner here, they always, when I asked them, what is your target group? They always said, tourists. Tourist is not a target group. Tourist is just a mix of many people, because backpackers are tourists. Guests at Amansara are tourists. You can't take all of them. So when you look at Haven, our target group was couples between 30 and 45 years old, no children, and said you call them things, double income, no kids. That's the proper target group, because all the communication you do, everything you set up, you can focus on one group. And that's very important for starting a business, for be successful in the future. You have to know who is your opposite, who are you talking with. We had the first 5 years, we had normally a fully booked restaurant 5 to 6 days ahead. So we couldn't take any walk-ins because it was always fully booked 5 days ahead. We were self-sustainable after 1 year. The problem was now the target group was extinct completely during COVID, because we had no double income, no kids tourists here anymore. And that's why we had to focus on completely new target groups, completely new income possibilities. We started collaboration with the Bean Embassy, who opened next door. Therefore, we had younger people. We could have us as a new target group. We started outside from restaurant business. We helped a private school with the whole hospitality part there. We said school kids, because for us it's important, we still have trainees who had to learn how to cook. So instead of cooking in a restaurant, we cooked at a school. So we could move on with the whole training program. Because we had to earn money, the school paid us for it, and we could move on with exactly the same system, just with a different group. Instead of tourists, we had school kids. We cooked for them, our trainees, they learned, we got an income. The second thing who is important, at the moment everything was, when business are working with the guests, they do over social media. Social media is the big thing at the moment here in Cambodia. Social media is very fast. Haven is not in general big in social media. It's perhaps because of our age. When I was young, social media didn't exist. But for us was important customer service and customer relationship management. It means the guests, the customer, when they are at Haven, we have to take care of them. We have to tell every single staff, it's not Haven who pays salaries. The customer pays salary. That's one thing. You have a customer who is happy at your place. But even more important is a customer should remember you. And that was the good thing with our customer. We did a relationship with guests. They came once to Cambodia. They came once to our restaurant with a newsletter. We send every 2 months we send a newsletter. That's a kind of the big version from social media. That's normally a 2-page email, not asking about money, but telling the story about Cambodia, telling the story about the situation we are in. When you see newspapers all around the world, they write about COVID, but they never write about specifically what's happening here in Cambodia. So the people all around the world, they know COVID, they have their own problems, but they don't know that actually here in Cambodia, it wasn't that bad with the cases. It was a big problem, especially here in Siem Reap, with the tourists. A lot of people, they still don't know that it's now quite easy to come to Cambodia and to visit Cambodia. And with newsletters, we updated them all on a regular basis, what's happened here. And the nice thing was, a lot of guests, former guests, even guests, they came to Haven 6, 7, 8 years ago. They wrote us back an email to ask us how we are doing, how they can help. And we got fundings from all around the world without asking. Just because they remembered Cambodia, they remembered the good time they had. They remembered the experience they had at our restaurants, and they just wanted to be a part so we can move on. And that's the point. If you have a good relationship with your customer, they will come back, they will send friends and relatives, but they will also keep you in good memory. And if they can do something, they will be always ready to do something. And I think that's the important part. Don't forget your customers when they left, because they have still you in mind, and that's important. Now, since COVID is over, so it's not over, but since the tourists are coming back, it was nice to see, even after 2 years, the people didn't forget. And that's the point. They never forget the good things, they also never forget the bad things. So customers are coming back and say, oh, I came to your restaurant 5 years ago, and now because we learned that Cambodia is open again, they are coming back. For us, the good thing is we have an income again, but also good thing is we have new trainees. We started last October with a new training program. We have 8 new trainees at Haven at the moment. They all come from organization, from difficult background, and we could start a new year with them. And that's the point. As soon as you have the possibility, do your part with the social responsibility. If you have a business and you take one person in and train them, he will help you forever, because you gave him a chance, he will help you. If he moves on, that's good for you, because when somebody you trained got a good job, it means you trained him well. A lot of places, they start training people to a certain degree so they can't leave. The best thing what's happened is when they leave and move on, because they take your ideas with them, and then you can spread your idea. All the trainees we had, the 100 trainees, they work at different places now. They still remember where they came from and what kind of opportunity they had. If they start a business, if they take a trainee in, if they take new trainees and help them, that's how Cambodia can move on. Don't rely on NGOs from other countries. Especially the new generation, you can do it by yourself. That's your job. The first time when I came here, many people ask me, oh, can you help me? Can you support me? Cambodia is a beautiful country. Cambodia is a rich country. You have smart people here. Rely on your intelligence. You can do it. It's always sad when you have to ask other ones. When you see this event we have now, it's created by young people. Don't be scared to fail. That's one thing I learned here in Cambodia with our young adults, because I worked so close together with them. A lot of people are scared to fail. When my wife and I decided to Cambodia and start this project, this business, even people, friends back home said, are you sure you want to do it? Because my wife and I, we both had good jobs in Switzerland. We had a good income and we left everything behind. But we trusted ourselves, we knew we can do it. And we can change, even a small change. In the last 10 years, we trained 100 people, 100 young people, and we created an opportunity for them. The question is, was it worth it? I think every single person you can help, it's worth to do it. And if you try, you will learn if it works or not. If you don't try, you will never know. I had one person, a journalist, at the restaurant right at the beginning, and she asked me, what is your plan B when it's not working? And I told her, I trust in my plan A, I don't need a plan B. The point is you have to try, because we had two possibilities with Haven. Either we go to Cambodia, we started the project and we try, and then either it is successful or it fails. If it's successful, we move on. If it fails, we go back to Switzerland and have exactly the same situation like before. So we couldn't lose at all. At the end, the worst thing was happened could be we have to go back to Switzerland and start working again. That's what we did before. So you won't lose a lot even if you fail, but you learn because of your mistakes. If you learn out of your mistakes, you will move on and you will do it better the next time. So that's the story from Haven. We will move on for an unknown numbers of years. We give also in the future the opportunity for the young adults to get an education and a proper future. Because the future of Cambodia are the young people. Because the old ones like me, we just get older. Thank you very much.